Great. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for jumping in and joining us today. My name is Christy Kennel, and joining me is Julie Dudley. And if you haven't heard from us by now, don't know who we are, we need to have a little chat. Because we are less than 5 days away to the last day of giving. So we first wanted to start out with a big thank you for all the work you have done throughout the campaign year. And just a reminder, these meetings are meant to be interactive, so please share any information or ideas you have throughout as we navigate through some of the slides. Don't hesitate to interrupt us, jump in with your questions.
So today we want to go over the Finish Strong toolkit. You should have received this through the email last week, and hopefully you jumped on the opportunity to utilize this great resource and get to start on Finish Strong Week. Today we'll go over a few of the resources within the kits and how to utilize these for the benefit of your campaigns. It's important to know your fellow campaign managers. You're a great resource for each other, especially if you're a repeat campaign manager. No matter which department, agency, office you belong to, reach out to each other for ideas and collaboration. It's encouraged to make connections for next year's campaign and plan dual events or friendly competitions. We love on-the-spot ideas, so let's do some introductions. So when I call your name, could you give your office, agency when I call on you? So I'm going to start with Yvette. Yvette, you're on mute.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to turn my camera on, but I did. Sorry about that. I got involved in turning the camera and forgot to turn on my microphone. My name is Yvette Martis. I am the co-campaign manager at NASA Langley Research Center, and I have been involved in some way, shape, or form with CFC since 2014 when I started at NASA. Of course, that year, was the new girl gets to do CFCs. But I've been involved ever since then, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So it's definitely evolved, and our office, in the Office of Chief Counsel, has been involved in some way, shape, or form, usually in every one of those years as well. So I don't know if this is where I should discuss any events, Julie, but I'll let you tell me how you want me to proceed on that, or if you want me to wait until later in your presentation.
If you can wait till later in your presentation, have you got time?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Barbara.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Barbara Wood, and I'm from the JAG School in Charlottesville, Virginia. And with this COVID, I've been sending out emails and things, but I thank God for Miss Julie. She's been working with me, and for the people at the JAG School, we did the best we can, and I've been enjoying this. I'm hoping that if I work with the next year, I will have a little bit more knowledge, but I'd like to thank Miss Julie and everyone else for giving me the opportunity to be the campaign manager. Thank you.
Thank you. Grace.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Ms. Julie, you've been very helpful. I've never done anything like this before, taking over and being in charge of like a big group of people. So this is a learning experience for me, and throughout the entire process, you've been very helpful. Anything I needed, you're right there. Just being able to just contact you like in a blink of an eye. I've never known somebody with such a big title so accessible. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything I would change about this experience. It's been wonderful, and I do it again. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. And Denise?
Yes, this is Denise Gay. I'm with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service Law Enforcement Office. Julie, you've been a trooper for the past few years that you've come on board, and I've been doing this, oh gosh, since about 2003. So COVID has affected a lot of it this year. Unlike 2020, it was a bit slow going this year, but I still enjoy trying to help, trying to do the best that I can. And thank you, Julie, for all of your help. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And I have Celia. And I know I've said that wrong. McNabb. Okay, we seem to have lost him at the moment. Have I left anyone out?
Yes, you left out Charles Harris.
Mr. Harris, I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. But we, the COVID has affected everyone, but we are doing fairly well, and that's all based on the energy that Julie has put into it. She's been very active. She's always available. She's engaged, and she gives that personal touch. And so all the success that we've realized has been generated through her efforts. And we appreciate you, Julie. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Have I left anyone else out? No. Christy, do you want to carry on?
Yes, I shall carry on. Okay, so thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. We hope you have taken note. If there's anybody that you may want to reach out to, we'll be more than happy to connect you within this last week if you want to do some planning, things like that. Can everybody still hear me okay?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I did. My screen just blinked, so I was like, "Oh shoot, did I lose internet?" So good, we're still connected. So before we jump into talking about the Finish Strong toolkit, Julie mentioned earlier, we wanted to share how your hard work is impacting those in need, as well as a few, I think actually just one important update on pledging. So let's take a look at our current totals. And here you will see, as of today, we are over 1.2 million. We're not quite at 1.3 yet. We're gaining ground on there, but we are headed that way. But some of the ways that the donations you all have worked so hard to pull in this year, $250 equips a firefighter with a helmet designed to protect from falling debris, injury, and extreme heat. And there are a few others on there for you. You can read those. I won't read them all for you. So for updates, the one important update impacting totals in our zone is the department, agency, office, and zip code selections when giving online. So it was brought to our attention by one of our other CMs who noticed that their totals were not coming in as high as they thought that they were. So a little bit of digging into this, they realized the wrong zip code had been used. So please relay to your donor base the importance of updating their online profile within the pledge system at givecfc.org, especially for military. If an individual has PCS, their department, agency, office still may be reflecting their old duty station. And for ships, it's really, really important. Donors do not use the APO, FPO zip code for or your donations will go to the Greater New York campaign or the overseas campaign, because that is where those APO, FPO zip codes route to. And this was where we had found a lot of discrepancies coming through where shipmates had actually donated, but they used the ship zip code. So those donations went to the Greater New York campaign or the overseas. But it's not too late to update profiles. So if you only update the zip code in the profile, this will be enough to reroute the pledge to our zone, and the pledge report will update overnight, allowing us to map the pledge to the correct office and unit on our end if we need to. But this does need to be done before the pledge system closes on January 15th. So it's super easy and simple. And I just want to walk you through how to do that really quickly. So I'm going to pop up here. This is the pledge portal page that you will get to if you're on our local zone website, or you type in givecfc.org and you hit the donate button. It's going to take you to this page where you will sign into your online account. So hopefully you are all familiar with this already, but I'm going to sign in really quick. And then once I've signed in, it is going to have welcome and my name. So it says, welcome, Christy, your account. I'm going to click this menu and I'm going to scroll down to profile settings. And then here you will see I have federal annuitant and military retiree selected, as my husband is a retired United States from the United States Air Force. But I have to change this to be able to show you what we need donors to do. So here we go. And I had meant to pre-select a unit that we could throw in there, but it's easy, so we don't have to worry about it. And like I said, if they only go in and update the zip code, the pledge will come to us, and even if the wrong department, agency, or office is selected, we can map it where it needs to be based on their zip code. So this is how this is going to work. As you see, my zip code here is 23185. So this is within our zone. I live within our zone. I live in Williamsburg, Virginia. So my zip code when I work from home. And if you're working from home, we don't want you to use that address or zip code. We still want you to use your main office zip code. And here's why. So Julie lives in Virginia, but she is not in our zone. She does not live in our zone. Her zip code is 22460. So if she's using her place of work zip code, 22460, and she uses that on the online pledge, and she means for it to go to our campaign, but she uses that zip code, it actually goes to the National Capital Area campaign, because where Julie lives in Virginia is actually part of the NCA campaign. This is why your work zip code is so important. So once you've updated the zip code, then you'll be able to select the correct list from the units. And you would do this through your drop-down menus here. And I'm just choosing stuff, so have no clue. But even, and here's a good example. So I clicked Army Acquisition Executive Support Agency, but I actually picked a unit that resides, looks like, in Alabama. This is okay. And this is why I've said if the zip code, that's enough. Because we can take this on the back end and we can say, okay, PEO Aviation, someone has chosen that. So there's possibly that unit on either Fort Eustis or Fort Lee. And if not, then by the zip code, it will tell us. So I can pull up a zip code and it can tell me, oh, well, this is Fort Eustis or this is Fort Lee. So then I know that needs to be rerouted to and remapped to Fort Lee or Fort Eustis, whichever one the zip code populates for me. Then but the other way you can do that is if you know your office zip code, your unit code, CFC code, you can plop that in here and it will automatically populate. Once you click look up, it'll automatically populate your department, agency, and office. But zip code is most important. We want some of these donations that have where a member or a donor didn't update their profile, and they may still have a work zip code from if they've moved recently, whatnot. If that's still reflecting outside of our zone, if they can go in and change that, save changes, the pledge system will update and those pledges will come back to us. So if you have anybody asking questions, or you yourself as a campaign manager, you feel like your numbers are looking at a little bit low, and you think that they are wrong. This may be something that you can push out to your donors this week, is to make sure that they have gone in and updated their zip code. Does anybody have any questions on that before I move along? Okay, so moving right along. We want to jump into the Finish Strong Toolkit. This is going to be a real great resource for you this week. And so you should have received that last week in the email. Julie may have sent some of you directly through email. I know I've sent a couple of my CMs directly through email as well. But what we're going to do is I'm going to open up this Finish Strong Toolkit. So once you receive it and you download it out of the email, or you've gone to the website to download it, we're not going to go through all the contents. We're just going to highlight a few things throughout the presentation, but I want to show you how to use these toolkits. Hopefully if you've used them and you don't need this instruction, but some people may be coming in last minute. This is their only week of campaigning, because we have had that. But it gives you instructions. It gives you the table of contents and then the instructions on how to download each resource by clicking the gray box. So I'm just going to scroll to the next page, which is our communications. And here you will see we have leadership communication pieces, and then all Finish Strong communication pieces. And the Finish Strong emails are what we have been sending to you since last Wednesday, I believe, was the first one that went out, allowing for easy forwarding to your contact list by just taking out our little, paragraph blurb in the beginning and then forwarding it on to your donor base. But here you will see, again, selection of leadership emails, memos, and speeches. So what you're going to do is simply click on the resource you need to download. So I'm going to start with this one. And what that is going to do, it's going to open it up. So down here in your browser, and some of this may be different for everybody, depending on what version that you're running, it may automatically open it. So here's my Word document. And it's not letting me do this. So anyway, so this is what you're going to need. You just simply copy and paste it right here. Take the whole thing, copy and paste it into the body of your email. Read over it really quickly. See if you need to change any verbiage to for your department or agency. Put in your signature line, and then sometimes there may be like a little total. I think like the one that we sent out today had today's total in it that we put in. Some of these that are pre-written that you're downloading, they're going to have like a $sign and an X or two to let you know you need to fill in the blank on that. So if you do that and you have any questions, you need totals, reach out to Julie and I. We can get those to you before sending these out. So that's it. The toolkits are super easy to use. And that's how they are used. You just open it up, you click on the gray box, and it will download everything that you need. So I'm going to close this out. And we are going to move on. Julie, I'll let you take over here.
Okay, great. It's so important to have a plan for this last week. This is your opportunity to plan your communication using the resources provided in the toolkit. It is more important than ever this week that we get the communication out and you get on the communication train. We can still have a big collective impact together, supporting thousands of charities that depend on our generosity. So I'm going to ask you to unmute in a minute and share some event ideas. We've had great events, both virtual and in person, in VAB this year. So a few examples are NASA hosted a virtual Pets, Peewee and Pumpkin contest, as well as the United States Coast Guard Elizabeth City hosted an in-person event, Thanksgiving dinner and raffle event with great results and giveaways. We would like you to share any event you've hosted this year and ideas that you have. I know who you are in my team, so don't be surprised if I call you. So I'm actually going to start with Yvette on this because I know she needs to jump off.
Thanks, Julie. So again, I was asked to just discuss a couple of the events that NASA had this year to promote awareness of the combined federal campaign. And of course, one of the important things is that we have a team that is organized every year for a combined federal campaign, you know, throughout the whole process. And our team consists of 2 communications managers. We have two senior SESs that are in charge with the campaign managers underneath them. We have two IT individuals that assist in updating our web page that we have set up at NASA. So we've had this kind of structure in place for a number of years now, at least since I've been involved. And of course, it helps to make things run smoothly, and it also spreads, you know, the responsibility of the campaign through a team and not just on one person's shoulders. So, and one of the things that we've had to do during COVID, of course, as we all know, is to adapt to a virtual campaign for the most part. So we typically had in-person awareness events, and of course, the last couple of years we've had to do online events, and they've been very successful, as Julie said. We did host again this year an event called Pumpkins, Pets, and Pee-wees, and people submitted photographs of their carved pumpkins, or their pets dressed up for Halloween, or their children dressed up for Halloween. And of course, those photos were judged, and we gave out some CFC swag to a few winners of those events. We also hosted new this year an event called Fall Fun and Football, I believe was the name of that. And that was more, that was an awareness event as well. In the past, we've also hosted a virtual event for decorating your Christmas doors or holiday doors, and we had photos submitted for those. We also hosted events to submit photos for your best decorated, or show us a picture of your Thanksgiving table. And so we've had to adapt quickly, of course, because of the pandemic. And I would say that we've been able to host very successful virtual events. And of course, I think all of us look forward to maybe doing some in-person events in the future. But I would again say that it's very important to assemble a team. So responsibility for IT support, communications, and just the managing of the day-to-day of the CFC campaign is very important. We've hosted weekly meetings to keep ourselves updated on the event, and our campaign has been successful. As of last week, we met our goal that we established for Langley to raise in October. We've met that goal, and I'm sure that we will have exceeded it. I haven't checked the numbers today, but again, thank you to Julie and to Christy for all the support they provided for the campaign. And I thank everyone. And of course, CFC is just always a wonderful event. So thank you all.
Thank you for sharing. I know Langley had some good events. Would you like to share?
Yes. So again, Pumpkins, Pets, and Pee-wees was an event that we had this year. Fall Food and Football was one of the awareness events. So in terms of virtual events, past events, in-person events that we've had at Langley have been our most successful event that we have. When we have in-person awareness events, are we have a chili cook-off that's just literally off the rails. So it's just people set up elaborate stations for chili, and they have almost set designs where they, you know, tried to display how hot their chili might be. We have judges that have come in and judged the chili events. We've also had a a live auction or virtual, not virtual, but an auction of goods to to raise funds for CFC. But that's changed because, of course, you can no longer, judging at one point, people donated money in jars at the cook-off for whoever they thought had the best chili. Of course, you can't do that anymore. And now we just vote on who wins, and we had online voting for those things in the past when we were doing virtual events. We also hosted an in-person car show, and people brought in antique cars and other cars for an awareness event that we had. And we will, when we do go back to in-person, we will begin hosting some of these in-person events again. We also hosted a Jail the Manager event, which is also very successful. Those are always very, very popular events. I would say those are the 3 most popular in-person events that we hosted. The Pumpkins, Pets, and Pee-wees is by far the most popular virtual event that we've been hosting since the pandemic. And we did not have as many virtual events this year as we did last year. But again, Fall Fun and Football and the door decorating event we had last year was also very popular.
Well, I guess I better go on a diet now.
The chili cook-off is really always fun, whether you're raising it, having an event or not. The cook-off is just always really good at Langley.
It is.
Yeah, we have a good time.
Mr. Harris, do you know of any events that Fort Eustis did?
I know some of the organizations on post have had some, like Trader had some. I don't know the exact time, but I think they did it virtually. I'll have to send that to you in a report.
Yeah, I know a lot of the units had booths. We have Grace on the line, so I'm gonna refer to Grace. Did you have any events, Grace?
Besides the virtual pace setter, that was the only event that I had. Mine was more, I had a booth where I had the pamphlets and the cups and the pens, and so people would occasionally come by and get a pen or like the little notepad. But other than that, I was just sending, the weekly newsletters and things like that.
Great. And Langley Air Force Base, I know that you had a few events, didn't you?
I know Annie did too, but she's not on today, so I'll have to get with her too and get that, because I didn't know that was going to be one of the subjects today.
No, that's fine. It was just really an open discussion today, so that it gives everyone ideas. So that's no problem, Mr. Harris. We seem to have lost Staff Sergeant McNabb.
Yes,
Langley Air Force Base. Okay, I'm going to just speak on behalf of him quickly that I know that he had a 5K, virtual 5K. So let's stop there, and thank you for everyone that shared. Here's an example of a great video event that you can put on for the end of the campaign. It's a thank you message. It's thank you messaging as well. Include leadership as well as yourself. This is a leadership video to the co-workers.
National Langley Research Center is proud to be a part of the 2021 Combined Federal Campaign. Hi, my name is Pete Poland. I'm the Chief Counsel at NASA Langley Research Center and the campaign chair. The NASA Langley community has a great legacy of engaging in fun and collegial activities to support the combined federal campaign. We've had to adjust to this virtual environment, and that's okay. We're reaching out to our active and generous employees in new and different ways, and it's still a lot of fun.
Hello, I'm Dawn Scheibel, NASA Langley's Director of the Engineering Directorate and this year's campaign co-chair for NASA Langley. In addition to regular communications where we share information about the CFC, the charities, and the people who benefit from them, we also encourage our workforce to share the charity or cause that means the most to them. To increase awareness, we have fun photo challenges such as pumpkins, pets, and peewees in October, and food, fall, and football in November. These are great ways to keep everyone engaged and to support the CFC. The NASA Langley workforce is the face of change.
And NASA did 5 of those videos that went out. So moving on, Christy has shown you how to download the resources within the toolkit. Here's a quick overview of some of the other resources within. You will see we have provided social media pieces, as well as the 60-year countdown graphics, which are free to share. An idea is to contact your local PAO office to see about utilizing these resources on your department, agency, or office social media channels, or in-house intranet services. We do understand some of you may not be able to open and download. So please let us know if you need help, and we will email you the individual pieces you need.
Another toolkit resource that we wanted to share with you is the Leadership Toolkit. And inside this toolkit, you'll find end of the campaign emails and memos, as well as the Finish Strong messaging that you saw earlier in the Finish Strong toolkit. And as we come to a close this campaign season, it's important to thank all leadership for their support and provide them with campaign results. So this helps lay the groundwork for support in future years. And speaking of future years, a great reminder is the CFC happens every year. So now is the time to put the 2022 CFC campaign activities tentatively on the calendar, so you are prepped and ready to go for event planning and implementation. But also, it's a great way to get leadership on the schedule tentatively ahead of the planning rush. So sometimes we get into the CFC right in September and October, and by that time, your leadership's calendars are already filled up for the year. So we're suggesting that you get them on the calendar now, tentatively, of course, because things can change and fluctuate, and if you're doing any events and things like that, that you know you may have to adjust those. But if you have them on the calendar now, they're aware, they're going to be prepped, and they're going to be ready. With the Leadership Toolkit, you are free to utilize it to help prep for the upcoming campaign by using the ideas and resources available within. And also, with that being said, don't forget to help leadership, ask leadership to help you recognize your key workers for their hard work this year. We do have certificates available for you to download online, and you can also order certificates directly from us, and we will prep and merge your list of names, then email the finished certificates directly to you for printing. We will release more information on how to do that later this week, so be watching for that email. It's also very important to thank all participants and your team. And as part of our campaign resources, we do have another toolkit called the Thank You Toolkit that we recommend you download and use right after the campaign is over. The link was provided in this week's newsletter, but we will also email this out to everyone today for your use. And then you feel free to use those email templates to send communication thanking everyone in your agency for considering participating in the campaign. There's also an email template for leadership to send out as well. In the spirit of thanking everyone for participation, Julie and I are grateful for all you have done in support of the charities that are part of the CFC. And it has been a pleasure working with everyone this year, and you have our heartfelt thanks for being the face of change to your donor base. Does anybody have any ideas on how you would like to thank your donor base or key workers that we haven't mentioned, like the certificates? If you have something special you would kind of like us to create up as far as a certificate, you can let us know and we can work on creating something like that for you. But if anyone wants to share and throw some ideas out there, now's the time to do that. Does anybody have anything to share? Okay, so we are going to move on. So we, out of all of the resources that we have one more, and another great resource for closing out the campaign is sharing generosity statements. So you'll see these on the slide. And these are from real CFC charities, and they show donors just how far their donations reach and how CFC donations are impacting thousands of individuals around the world. So if you would like to have some of these in hand for email communications, not a problem. We will grab these and we can send those out today along with that thank you toolkit that we mentioned earlier. So you'll have them on hand.
We will now take time for questions, and they don't need to be Finish Strong related. So has anyone got any questions that they want to ask us, either on the presentation or something that, you know, is concerning you?
Okay, well, again, it has been a pleasure working with each and every one of you, and we hope to see you again for the upcoming campaign.
Thank you for attending today. Please let us know how we can help you finish strong during this last week of solicitation. Note that January the 15th is not the end of our communication. We will still need your input. Ordering awards and participating in after action reviews will be coming soon.
All right, so if no one has any further questions or comments, please enjoy the rest of your day and let us know if you need anything. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.